Before you scroll away, before you tell yourself this doesn't apply to you, ask yourself one honest question. When was the last time your partner looked at you and you felt wanted, not tolerated, not appreciated, but truly desired? If this video finds you uncomfortable, that's not an accident. Stay, because walking away now means choosing confusion over clarity, and you've already spent too much time confused. There is a kind of heartbreak people don't talk about. No shouting, no betrayal, no dramatic ending, just a slow disappearance while the relationship is still alive. They still reply, they still show up, they still say the right things, but something is gone, and you can feel it in your body before you can explain it with words. She didn't notice it at first. Nothing happened. No argument, no breakup talk, just small changes. Conversations became shorter, laughter became rare, affection turned routine. She started filling the silence with effort, longer messages, faster replies, more understanding, more patience. She thought love meant trying harder. At night, she'd replay every interaction. Did I say too much? Did I say too little? Was I too available? And every morning, she woke up with the same quiet hope. Maybe today will feel different, but it didn't, because while she was leaning in, they were slowly leaning away. Here's the part people don't admit. Not knowing where you stand hurts more than being rejected, because rejection ends the story. Uncertainty keeps it alive. Your mind starts working against you. You imagine reasons. You blame timing. You blame stress. You blame yourself. And the scariest thought begins to form. What if I'm no longer desired, but I'm still needed? Needed for comfort, needed for stability, needed for familiarity, but not chosen. That quiet realization changes how you show up. You become careful, you become alert, you become smaller, and without realizing it, you trade self-respect for reassurance. Here's what's actually happening, and this is where the self-blame ends. The human brain does not experience desire through logic. It experiences desire through emotional contrast. When someone feels emotionally full without you, your presence becomes meaningful. But when someone feels emotionally complete because of you, your presence becomes predictable. Predictability doesn't destroy love, but it does soften desire. Not because you did something wrong, but because desire needs space to breathe. When effort turns automatic, the brain stops registering value, and chasing, even softly, signals one dangerous message. I'm afraid to lose you. Fear changes the emotional balance, and desire cannot grow where fear leads. This is not about pulling away to provoke a reaction. This is not about silence as punishment. This is about returning to yourself without abandoning the connection. Desire begins to return when your presence feels chosen, not guaranteed. That means you respond, but you don't over-explain. You care, but you don't collapse inward. You stop auditioning for affection, and something shifts, not because you became colder, but because you became grounded. And grounded energy is felt before it is understood. Sometimes desire doesn't return, and this part matters, because your worth was never measured by how intensely someone wanted you. If someone can only desire you when you shrink yourself, that desire was never safe. Real desire doesn't require anxiety to survive. It grows alongside peace. And if peace leaves when you stop chasing, then what you were holding on to was never love. Real desire doesn't survive on insecurity. Real desire grows alongside peace, trust, mutual respect. And let's break down what's really happening psychologically. 1. Attachment patterns shape desire. People who are used to closeness may initially respond to availability, but if closeness feels like pressure, it can trigger withdrawal. This isn't about fault, it's about learned emotional responses. 2. Emotional exhaustion reduces attraction. When one person carries the emotional weight of the relationship, desire begins to fade because emotional debt isn't erotic, it's draining. 3. Overavailability reduces anticipation. The brain's reward system responds more to anticipation than predictability. When someone knows you will always be there, the reward value drops. Now here's the part most people miss. The absence of returning desire is not always a reflection of your inadequacy. Sometimes it simply reflects emotional misalignment. 2 different ways of processing connection. Practical healing solutions, not games, not manipulation. This section is about real tools you can use to heal and grow, whether desire returns or whether it doesn't. 1. Rebuild your identity outside the relationship. Most of us absorb another person's gaze and start defining ourselves through it, but your identity must come from within. Ask yourself, who was I before this relationship? What did I care about that I stopped doing? What qualities in myself do I admire? Write these answers down. Reconnecting with yourself resets your emotional compass. 2. Shift from need to choice. When you feel you need someone to feel whole, you create a psychological dependency. Instead, cultivate this belief: I choose connection, but I do not depend on it for my value. Practically, do one thing today that makes you feel autonomous. Respect your boundaries, don't apologize for them. Rediscover pleasure in your own life rhythms. 3. Emotional regulation, the science of calm desire. When anxiety dominates your internal state, the nervous system becomes reactive rather than Slow diaphragmatic breathing, 5 minutes, calms the fight or flight response. Touch, sight, sound anchored in the present moment. Journaling without judgment. Write emotions without editing. These practices strengthen what psychologists call affect tolerance, the ability to feel emotional discomfort without self-criticism. 4. Reconnect through authentic presence, not reaction. Presence is a different form of connection than emotional availability. Availability means being there. Presence means being centered when you are there. You can care deeply without becoming emotionally dependent. Try this. When you interact, ask yourself, am I sharing from fullness or from fear? If it's from fear, pause. If it's from fullness, proceed. 5. Reframe distance as self-respect, not punishment. People often fear distance because they equate it with loss, but distance doesn't have to be cold, manipulative, withdrawing, and punishment. Instead, distance can be restorative, self-honoring, emotionally protective. This is not about silence as a weapon. It's about creating space for clarity, space to breathe, space to feel, space to restore. 6. When desire doesn't return, what to do? This is perhaps the hardest part. Sometimes desire simply doesn't come back, and that is okay. If peace leaves when you stop chasing, then what you were holding on to was not love, as defined by safety and mutual regard. Real desire doesn't require anxiety to survive. Real attraction thrives in emotional security. If it doesn't return, your healing doesn't end, it evolves. Because you are not fix a problem. You are a human being capable of deep connection, but not at the cost of your own well-being. You do not need to shrink yourself to be desired. You do not need to chase to be worthy. You deserve connection that feels peaceful as well as passionate, and your journey towards that is one of the most courageous things you can do. If this video stayed with you, if it felt uncomfortably accurate, don't ignore that. Someone else is sitting in silence tonight, asking the same questions you once asked. Subscribing isn't about supporting a channel. It's about choosing clarity over confusion. Comment if you're ready to stop chasing. Share this with someone who needs permission to breathe again. And if you've made it this far, don't leave without choosing yourself.